All right, folks, here we are for another session of Off the Grid. I wanted to welcome our next guest. He's a prolific multimedia and media artist, filmmaker, educator, world traveler, writer, rapper, and producer. He and his longtime friend and rapper Lucky I Am make up the hip-hop duo Mystik Journeymen out of Oakland, California. He is a member of the Living Legends Collective and has been releasing music through his own label, Outhouse Records, since '95. I love his IG profile. I don't know if he's an only child, but he says he calls himself his mom's favorite kid. Are you an only child?
I'm an only child and I'm the favorite kid, so it worked out.
I love it, man. So I wanted to welcome Sunspot Jonz. Thank you for doing this session with me today. How are you?
Hey, thank you. Hey, I'm great, man. Just enjoying the sun and, laid out on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hey, it's an honor to have you on the show. Been a long-time fan since the 90s.
Right.
And just, I appreciate you doing this, man.
No doubt. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, hey, before we go into your amazing career, I wanted to take it back to the start. I'm just curious what your first exposure to music was. What were your parents bumping back in the day?
Well, hold on. Look at that motorcycle. Loud ass motorcycle. Shut up. Okay. Gotta do that with Neighborhood Watch. Yeah, I mean, my parents were into all types of music, you know what I'm saying? But my family's from the South. They're from Louisiana. And, a lot of blues, a lot of Bobby Blue Bland, B.B. King. But, also my dad listened to a lot of different things as well. He's the one who got me into music the first time. Him and my mom, like I was adopted her for. Him and my mom only stayed together for a year after that. Then they got divorced. I ended up staying with my mom. So my dad would come by every so often, drop that check off. And one day he came in and he was listening to something in his headphones. And I was like, "What's that?" And he goes, "Here," he puts it in my ear, and I'm like, it's like raw. I was like, "What are they?" He goes, "That's Eka Mouse." I was like, "Oh shit."
Nice.
Oh shit. And I don't know that he was so excited to show it to me. And, we didn't have this close relationship, but it was a moment that I felt close to him. Okay. So it just was like, oh shit, this makes him laugh and smile. And I want to be a part of this, so man. Just from there, it just kept growing. And my mom brought me my first vinyl. I think maybe it was like some old school, it was like Curtis Blow or something. Wow. The Breaks. Yeah. And it just never stopped from there. I was writing poems and, doing all the shit that you do when you're young, trying out everything. But, they were definitely a vital part of my whole shit,
Yeah. And were you born in the South or were you born in Oakland?
I'm adopted, so I don't know where exactly I was born, but it was in the Bay Area.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Bay roots for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, you mentioned Curtis Blow might have been some of the earlier stuff you were introduced to in Oakland and just the Bay Area in general. You guys have an amazing hip-hop or rap scene back in the day.
Music scene, period. Yeah.
Yeah. And so who were some of your favorites from the Bay, just Cali rap in general?
I mean, it's always going to be, a lot of groups you probably don't know, but like also some you do know. Like there's one of my favorite groups is Bored Stiff.
Absolutely.
Another group you might know, Hieroglyphics, because I grew up with Dell. I mean, me and him used to exchange cartridges. Yeah. Like at 12, you know what I mean? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Also, man, there's so many groups. I mean, I like hip hop. I like gangster rap. I like radio rap. I like anything. At that time, I was just highly, influenced by anything coming out of the Bay. Like I was raised on Too Short. Yep. I was raised on Dangerous Dame. I was raised on 415, MC Pooh. But yeah, so I had all types within there's like, people that's in my circle, like my boy Mike T, Cytoplasms, Hobo Junction, Fear. A lot of groups. I can go on and on and on, but I was, like I said, highly influenced by my people around me.
Yeah, I should preface this, and I mentioned that I'm from Vacaville, California. So
Vacaville, that's what's up. That's what's up.
I don't know if that's considered Bay Area, but it's just outside,
I
huh?
mean, it's Northern Cali. We know it's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, ain't no water by that. I mean, is there
Yeah.
water? I mean, yeah, it's kind of dry.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's amazing, right? So I'm a big fan of JT the Bigger Figure, Mac Mall,
Oh,
and Mac Dre.
JT. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm forgetting all these people. Tupac.
Yeah.
Um, definitely. The Bay has a strong, like
Uh,
cemented a strong, thing in the music scene, just period,
yeah.
not just worldwide, but California is strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, and LA, a fellowship, Far Side. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
pretty much I take a little bit of everybody.
Yeah,
Took
it's so
some.
interesting on the way that you went in terms of rap and your music. Oakland, obviously, very famous for gangster rap too. And
Mhm.
so, was there a conscious decision on which way you were gonna go in terms of gangster rap or underground conscious hip hop?
I mean, basically, I was never like living this gangster life, I
Yep,
mean, you got to be gangster if you in the
that's
Bay,
a
but
good
like,
point.
I really just I wanted to be creative, you know
Yep,
what I'm saying? More than not to say gangster rap ain't creative, but it
yep,
was just like I was more into the creative side of hip hop instead of the stereotypical side of hip hop.
yeah,
So I was a storyteller, like I
yep,
said, I'm a screenwriter, I'm a playwright, I'm a children's book author. I mean, I do all these different things. So like, of course, my music's going to be a little bit more colorful
yep,
than street life, and I didn't want to attract that in my life.
yeah,
Growing up in Oakland, I was a runaway at 6,
yep,
and from 6 to about I say till 15, I was always back and forth in the streets or in the foster homes, and it just kind of was like I didn't want to deal with my trauma by talking about more trauma,
yep,
that I was going through. I wanted to
yeah,
kind of, find a brighter, light to the
yeah,
moment. So I never got into that. And I just, I had too many people that died that were
yep,
family. And it was just, it would be too typical to fall
yeah,
into that. And I had so much more to give. Not to give anything away from gangster rap. Like I
yep,
said, I love gangster rap. I love all
yep.
types of rap, but it just wasn't what I wanted to say and do.
Yeah, hey, that's a fair point. And I probably asked that question wrong. So yeah, you're
Well,
right.
no,
Just yeah, yeah. No, just
it's
that
cool.
choice between gangster and underground rap. I think more it's just the life that you live in and what
Yeah.
kind of message you want to convey. So I think
Yeah. And it's
that's a
important
great
because
point.
like music, the power of words is
Yeah,
so strong. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And you can say things into existence. And I don't want to say
yeah,
that negative shit into existence
yeah,
because
sure.
it's just not it just it's not the life I want to live. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And what was the? So I know you mentioned you used to write stories, you did poetry, and so what was that catalyst, that point in your life where you mentioned that, hey, I'm gonna try actually writing rap. Do you recall that moment?
Well, just living in Oakland, you're
Yeah,
surrounded by music nonstop,
yeah,
and just like now, I'm sure a lot of kids they don't think I want to get into rap; they just are rapping. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And a lot of my friends would be freestyling, or be on the bus, freestyling, or you go to someone's party, you're freestyling, and I just always was a writer, like I said, and I just
yeah,
chose my medium, from there or what it was going to be, and yeah, just from there, I was always writing poems, and I love writing poems. I loved, the stage and all that shit. And I was like, you
yeah,
know what? I want to just kind of see what it is. So when I went to college in Hawaii,
yeah,
like I told you at Chaminade, I started. That's when I took full swing into my whole idea of what I wanted to do. DJ Black, my um, he one day came because I worked in the rec center, the student rec center in Chaminade, and part of my whole financial aid. And one day he came to our school and he was DJing in the rec room, and I was in charge of the rec room, and then I was busting my little weak ass raps, and he was like, "Dude, that's just dope." And I was like, "Oh, okay." He goes, "Man, you should come to Maui and just do a demo with me." I was like, "Maui demo? Wait, hold on." And I was like, and right then it just kind of happened naturally, I mean, I wasn't thinking about making a demo. I was thinking about making songs. I was just always rapping and shit,
it's
and I
awesome.
ended up making my first demo in Maui. And but at the same time I was like, in drama class in Chaminade, and
Yeah.
I wanted to be a writer, but I mean, I actually got a job being assistant director for one of the plays. And I started going around and started telling people what I thought was best for the play. And then the director, who was also the teacher, came to me. She's like, you know what? People don't like you going up to them, telling them stuff. And I was like, oh. And then I was like, why? I'm trying to just give them, they're like, no. She goes, you know what? Why don't you just go on and write your own thing and we'll put it on one day. She didn't think I was gonna really do that. You know what I mean? But you
Wow.
can't tell me no shit. And I was like, actually, I will do that. And then I went home and I'm writing as I'm walking home, from Shauna, I'm writing, passing UH, and I'm writing on little pieces of paper I'm finding. I did this script. I found a pizza box on the way. I start writing on that shit. And then, maybe like a month later, I had like, my first play. And I was like, I
That's
put it
awesome.
on at Chaminade. And I was like, this is, where I want to be. So when I came back, I
Yeah.
basically dropped out of Chaminade like 2 years in. I was like, living in Hawaii and going to college is fun, but at the same time, it's only so many things you can do on the island. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yep.
It's really, you have to really be like, I'm just kicking it and I'm chilling and I'm not tripping, and that's
Yeah.
cool. But I was young, full of spunk, and I wanted to
Yep.
do so much more. So I came back and, I basically started going to community college in Alameda,
Yep.
and I was like, well, I'm still pursue this. I met the guy that was in Boys in the Hood, and he was Reg Green. He was the guy that was in the wheelchair, little
Wow.
Chris, and I ended up start writing his script, and that was like the first script I ever wrote. It was called
Oh.
Rejected. It's about him being in high school and people like diss him because he's in a wheelchair, and so like we had all these big plans.
Man.
Meanwhile, I still had this demo, that really is it's kind of maybe native tonguey. It's really different than what Oakland shit was. It wasn't
Yeah. Yeah.
gangster. It was just I was having fun. I was talking about fucking Pippi Longstocking. It was like just crazy shit, right? And so I was like, no one cares about my raps. No one cares about none of that shit. I'm gonna push this film thing. I'm gonna push writing this. And, I finished the script and then it just never came through. It just never happened. I was like, fuck. And I was like, you know what? Then I was, my boy's mom got us a sampler so we could make some music. She rented it. And then, I was like, this is more cause it was like, at time too, they only wanted gangster films. They only wanted, films that everything was hella stereotypical and shit. And like I said, I'm trying to be as colorful as I can in my life. And I was
Yep.
like, fuck this. The music is more controllable.
Yep.
I can make this song and it can put it out right now if I want or whatever the fuck. Opposed to a
That's
film, you got to
awesome.
get all this other shit, to be a part of just to make this project happen.
Yeah.
So from there, I just was like, I just started making songs. I kept making songs. I met Lucky, and
Yep.
then we're making songs. We get the management, and then next thing you know, it's just we're getting kicked out of our apartment. And then I'm like, fuck that. We don't even need to get another apartment just to be poor. Let's use this rent money and buy student travel tickets and go to Europe
Oh,
and see
that's
if we can make it
crazy.
happen. And the rest is history. Next thing you know, we're in Norway, rocking Norway, fucking England,
Oh,
Switzerland, Nice, France. I mean, so yeah,
yeah.
music. This is one thing I tell people too. It's like never turn your back on your talent, because then your talent will always be there for you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, dude,
It
that's
will
dope.
always be there. Just stay on your job, and
Yeah.
that's what I just try to do. Just stay on my fucking job and stay believing in myself. Control
Yeah.
destiny, because everybody's always going to be like, you can't do it, you can't do it. Like, okay, cool, now that we're past that part, now let me try to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Don't like get the mental block. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought you guys were way ahead of your time too, as well as in terms of
All right,
like,
thanks.
yeah, the resources were scarce back then, and like I know, like so the first time I ran into your music was when I moved to the States. I was living in Japan, and I went to school at Santa Cruz, and I saw y'all
Oh
perform at Vets Hall, and so
yeah,
and you guys were selling.
damn.
Yeah, and I was like, I just started rapping, and I seen you guys selling the CDs, and man, I said, oh man, I need a man. It was just it was awesome, man. Like I saw you guys perform, and then picked up the
Word, thank you.
CD, and it was just really cool. It was my first exposure to underground hip hop, and I just thought,
Yeah.
how do you even like go about pressing your own CDs or take like I have no clue, but you guys were doing that, and you guys self-promoted and toured, and so that was quite amazing back in the '90s on how you were doing that.
Controlling destiny. That's what it's
Yeah.
always been about. It's like, of course you can't do it. Of course, people gonna say, of course you can't do it. That's why you fucking gotta do it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I moment. So yeah, we'd be out there booking our own tours, making our own shows happen,
Yeah.
you know, in front of other people's shows, selling our product to their crowd as they're leaving, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
their show. And
Right.
you know, it's like a thing of just never fucking gave up, and we were actually
Brilliant.
good. We were actually good because we you could see us, and you could see the passion in our eyes, and we
Yep.
performed. You know, we weren't performing like no one else. Our show was so different than everybody else's. Like there's times we performed because we were performing in Oakland, you know. Ain't nobody want to hear none of this hip hoppity shit. You feel me?
Oh,
They were like, it's
interesting.
gangsta or funk or none.
Yeah.
And we be doing shows, and like, you know, we come to the show and people be looking at us hella crazy, like, who is these funny style motherfuckers? But by, you know, and the whole thing is, if you ain't ripping, these my your ass or something else, you know, on the way out.
Good
But
point.
then by the end of the show, Wolf would be like, they'd be like this, you know, again,
That's
like, hey, where you
awesome.
guys from? Wait, what? I didn't know they make this kind of music in Oakland. Whoa, whoa, you know what I mean? And that was the shit that kept us going because we're like, dude,
Yeah.
we're actually like hated on at first, and people, we're winning people over,
That's
and you know
awesome.
that means we're onto something. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then just the rest was history.
Yeah, can I talk to you about this? Is my favorite question to ask people is how you got your name, your MC name. I know you had
Uh,
a bunch of other names floating around, Brother from Another Planet, right? Dusty Black Vision. And so how did you get to Sunspot Jonz?
well, okay, so basically BFAP, which was made by my boys Tone CMPX. He's part of Cytoplasms, and he's also Sway's cousin from well, he's
Oh,
from Sway.
Toy
Uh,
Tech. Yep.
but he was like one of the first people I was hanging out with when I came back from Chaminade and was just decided to be in Oakland. And like he'd always be like, man, you kind of look like the dude from Brother from Another Planet movie. And I'd be like, man, fuck you, motherfucker. What are you talking about? And
Oh,
just after a while, it just kind of stuck. I was like, you know what? I am from another planet. So then, you know, became Mystik Journeymen. I actually named Lucky PSC. I was BFAP, he was PSC.
ah,
And it turned into this whole shit of like, you know, I don't want it to be like, I like creating identity. I was like, I don't want it to be like produced by BFAP because I produced everything, Mystik Journeyman. I was
yep.
like, I need another name. And you know, just one day I thought about it, I was like, man, I'm a bright ass dark motherfucker, dark skinned motherfucker. And I'm like, Sunspot. That's it. I'm
Ah,
Sunspot. And
that
then
is
my
cool.
last name is, so it just was Sunspot Jonz. It just
Ah,
worked out.
that is awesome. And
And
so
that's
you
the rest of
came
the
up
history,
with
yeah.
you came up with the Mystik Journeyman name too?
No, actually, Emperor Dre. He's actually on the cover of Adele's "Sleeping on My Couch"
Okay.
um, album cover. But he was part of our clique too. That you know I was hanging out with at first, and he came out. It's funny. I just saw this guy at Adele's house last week because Adele
Oh,
has this
nice.
thing every Monday called Manic Mondays, and it's a big get together MCs. But um, he was hanging out, and he was like, "Yo, let me." For you, you know, because it was me. This is before, like, he was in the group. This is when I was in a group with this guy named Yapos. I
Yep.
went to high school with him. Young Asiatic prophet of soul, Yapos. But we were. That sounds hella old school because the prophet of soul. But he and me were like, hey, we should just be in a group together. We should just do it. When this after, and like I said, I came back from Hawaii, and we are like, we need a name. And then my boy Imp just came up with all these different names, and one of them was Monarchs of Dialect. I was like, that is way so old school. That's not even
But
down the next line, and then the next one. Then he's like, and he's on the phone telling me I was a babysitter in Piedmont for this little girl when I came back. That was like my job. And I was a living au pair. Like I was doing anything, right? And I'm like, yeah, go down and say another one. And like, what about Mystik Journeyman? I was like, that's it.
wow.
Because we're gonna live up to that name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd already been in Hawaii, I already been in all these different places, like lived in Louisiana and went to school, and I'm like, the journey doesn't stop. And so after a while, we kind of broke up as a group,
Yeah.
and I got in a group with four people,
Okay.
Zach the Lego Maniac, and then see Snuffleupagus and Pluto. So they're all my friends, you know what I mean, just as friends. They weren't really rappers,
Yeah.
but I was like, I want me and Yapos were cool, but we weren't really clicked up like how we, friends should be, because I was
Okay.
kind of coming into the middle, coming from school in Hawaii. I was coming into their circle kind of click late. So I just never kind of felt a whole part of it. Pep loved part of that clique too. And
Oh,
Jay
wow.
Biz and all this shit. And then I love them all. But it was just, I just kind of felt like I came in late. So I was like, I just want these guys that I'm with every day kind of to be in a group with me. So I was like, this is the new Mystik Journeymen, me and these guys that weren't rappers, but they were friends. And I was like, I'll write your raps for you. Don't worry. And, we were together. We actually did the first Vets Hall, Mystik Journeyman, with them. And I had never recorded a song with Ye Post at this point too. So it
Wow.
was cool, like, and it was so much, just still learning. So we're in a group. Everybody all of a sudden has to go because they're like graduating from high school or
Yeah.
have, other things happening, because we're like 19, 18, 20 and
Yeah.
all this shit. It
That's
was just too
crazy.
much going on. And people are like, I got to go to college, or I'm only living with my girlfriend now and all this shit. So one day, I was in UC Berkeley, and I met up with my girl that I was going on with, this girl named Molly, and she was like,
Yep.
"Oh, my best friend is her boyfriend's coming up from LA. You should meet him." And I'm like, "What? I mean, you guys trying to just have okay." And then we go and hang out, meet up with him, and it's fucking Tommy. And I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" He goes, "What's up?" And that night we just clicked so hard that, like, I said, "Hey, do you want to move up here and just be in a group with me?" It was just the most random, and I didn't expect him to say yes. He was like, "Hell yeah, dude."
That's awesome.
Next thing you know, yeah, next thing you know, like a month later, I'm living at my aunt's house. Because me and my mom didn't get along. She had kicked me out with a gun for not getting her a pack of cigarettes right before I graduated. So I stayed in my aunt's house in the extra room, and Tom moves up extra room with me. My aunt and uncle don't even know he's living there in the room. He brings his baby Pitbull. Pitbull. They don't even know we have a dog in there. They go to work early in the morning, so
Yeah.
like they wouldn't see. We just come in late and go to sleep, and by the time we wake up, they're already gone to work. Like, my aunt's a teacher, my uncle, like, he does a whole nother thing. So like, I'll just pop them through the window, and if they were there, I'll just pop them back out the window in the morning, and then he'll come to the front and knock on the door and act like he just showed up. And that's like, and so yeah, so that's kind of how the whole thing started. And he moved up, and we're like, every day we're working. And my friend, one of my friends at this time I met, was Ronald C. Ronald C was part of this group called the Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy. They were
Okay.
signed to Island, or Michael Franny. Michael Franny is also in a group
Yep.
called Spearhead and all this other shit down the line. But he started, managing us and helping us, and we just didn't stop. We just fucking never stopped. And yeah, it was like, what, fucking 30 years later,
Yeah.
I'm
Hey,
still here.
who came up with the logo? The logo is awesome. Is that an ink splatter? Or I never know. It was so
Yes. Okay.
dope.
So that was my boy Brian Werman, Homicide.
Sick.
He was, so when we finally got our own place to stay, well, we live with all these people in the warehouse district. Warehouse was kind of our beginning place of just being able to do anything. He roommate, and he was an awesome artist, and he just drew it for us, and it just fucking stuck. We're like, this
That
is, I don't
is
even know how the fuck this
awesome.
works out, but this works out. Yeah. And it was like, something saying, so we had the official looking ass logo. Our music was hella different. We had the passion of fucking just like fire whenever we performed. It was like, it just all timing worked, because like we weren't supposed to make it, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, ain't nobody really sounding like us in the Bay. And like
Right.
Hyro, they had, came out probably right around the time, but 93
Yep.
before I had their moment, but then they kind of just didn't do stuff for a while, probably until I think the Third Eye album. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, wow.
they did
Like,
Focus or something like that. I think
yeah,
they did
focus.
93 to Infinity. Then
Yep.
I think they did Focus, and then they kind of was gone for Souls, and Dell was kind of like doing his thing on Elektra, but then that kind of slowed down, and I don't think he was on the label no more. Casual did that one album, it was over.
Yep.
Snoop, Extra Prolific, that was in, and that was so it was really no place for weird like hip hop. Not like that shit's weird as much as I'm saying it's just
Different.
not the typical of a
Yeah.
debate. Yeah, it's not funk. If back then too, if you didn't sample George Clinton funk, all that shit, you really didn't get the attention, right?
Right.
Um, But then there's other people that did kind of make it, like Far Side back then. Like they were hella different. Freestyle Fellowship hella different, but still, it took them a minute to be the cult that they are now. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned, and I read that you got some history with Dell too. Were you guys classmates, or what's your tie with Dell?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like I said, me and him met through my homie Ian back in the day. And that was like when I said we were like 12 or something. And he lived right around the corner from me. And so basically, he was the person I'd send my demo. He probably doesn't even remember this, but I would send my first demo to him from Hawaii. And he's one of the first people that told me, it's like, yeah, you should keep going. Cause like he's like, yeah, I bumped that when I'm taking a shower. That was dope. And I'm like, oh, really? Me fucking pissed. No. It was just like I was on weird topics and all that, but he was like, keep going. And you know, I saw him as a person that was already kind of established and doing this shit. I felt like, you know, damn, he's my friend and he's established and you know, he's in the business. And if he says, you know, it's cool, you know, that's cool here to tell me, you know, and yeah, so he's always been a homie, always a good person.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I was just at his house last week. He's on my new album, Bad to the Bone. Which is about to drop, and so
nice.
So I just you know, I value my friends and I value what people say, and you know, and it just worked out. Yeah, so yeah, I've known him for years.
Nice. And so I mean, just that scene out there too. Did you guys spend a lot of time on Telegraph? You know, like old school.
Days and days. Like I swear, yeah, I swear from 90, I'm gonna date myself by saying this. From 93 until about 99, I was probably on Telegraph every single day.
That's amazing. Were there a lot of open mic venues or places to perform, or was it just slanging music?
At first, it was about like, you know, slanging music, you know what I'm saying? Like we're up there, I was there every day selling tapes.
That's awesome.
So selling the tapes led to being able to buy CDs. Selling the CDs led to being able to buy vinyl. You know what I mean? And we would sell a lot of tapes on Telegraph, you know, because like I said, I'd be there all day. It'd be me in Hobo Junction, IQ, and Chop, and King Son, and we'd be up there all day. And yeah, it was not that many open mics because, like I said, hip hop was still dangerous in the Bay. You know what I mean? So a lot of hip hop shows weren't just easily made. That's why we started throwing our own shows. Because we were like, we can't even get our own shows really. We had our own like-minded people that bought our tapes. So we're like, one summer, we put up this song called Never Forget. And my homie made a O-card tape cover at Kinko's for us. And it looked like a real tape. I was like, this looks like a real tape with this O-card around it. And we put it in Leopold's, which was a record store there. And it became the #1 tape for the fucking summer. I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, our weird, different ass music is actually making a thing. There's people that want to fuck with us. You know, fuck it. Oh, let's make our own show happen. And then that's how Unsigned and Hella Broke shows started happening. And when you start throwing them and like thousands of people would come and it would be crazy. And we're like, and it was under our rules. You know what I mean? That's why it kind of worked out. Like before that too, remember I told you my boy Rano was our manager. He got us a booking agent in San Francisco, and we were doing all these shows where we're opening up for Outkast, or opening up for Busta Rhymes. We're opening up for all these groups that, like, you know, we'd probably go on first or second, so we'd have to be memorable. You'd have to go up there and do some shit to be, you know, memorable. But it only got us so far, and it didn't get us nowhere in Oakland because motherfuckers really didn't come from Oakland to go to Frisco to party because nobody wants to cross that fucking bridge. You know what I mean? So this, you know, when we started doing the Telegraph thing and started seeing, yo, we can do it over here. We started like looking for venues. We ran out and doing all that, and then we started doing it at this place called Flankers in Hagenberger. Next, you know, we actually the first place we did it was at Jackson Street Studios, and this was a rehearsal spot that we said, you know, we're gonna make a party happen at this rehearsal spot. And so they let us do it, and it was like $3.99 with a pack of Kool-Aid, and then it turned into $3.99 with $3.99 with a pack of, we gave free Kool-Aid, $3.99 with a pack of Top Ramen. That's when we started doing the whole Top Ramen shit. So awesome. Like, and ramen. By the end of the day, we have all this top ramen, and that's what we eat for the next, because we weren't rich. You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's like,
funny.
so then it turned into $20 with a pack of Starburst. We just kept changing it up,
That's
and like
clever.
it was something different. People loved, just the idea, gimmicky moment of just like, you gotta bring top ramen. Well, you gotta bring Starburst, and so it was all about marketing. I think now as I look back,
Yeah,
it's about branding, marketing, and finding like-minded people. We also had a magazine called Unsigned and Hella Broke
that's
magazine,
right.
where all the artists that were local. And then at the end of the year, like we'd have the Unsigned Hella Broke shows. And at
Yep.
the end of the year, we'd have Broke at Summer Jam with all the artists
Ah,
that we wrote about in the magazine.
that's
And
fun.
that's how it all started, But it was about building a community of like-minded people. First show we ever did, like I told you about this place called Flankers in Oakland.
Yep.
After we stopped at the rehearsal studio, motherfucker got killed at that place the week before. So
Oh
it was
wow.
already like Oakland might show
Hot.
ass at our show, but we never had a problem. And
Nice.
we have hoods, we have squares, we have all types at our party. It was never a fucking problem, ever. So
Wow.
yeah, so it was just about being a community, being an activist in a sense, and just getting like-minded people and making that change happen. Like it wasn't like we were signed, but
Yeah.
we come to the show, it was like people were like, we had fans, we were
Yeah.
selling merch, people knew
So
our words. It was fucking crazy. It was the best time of my life.
yeah,
And
and you
I
guys
left all the people around me.
yeah. And I thought you guys really put that worldwide underground to life. I thought y'all made that manifest. Y'all were doing shows in
Yes.
Europe. And so I know you guys would eventually meet Grouch before you guys took off to Europe, and
Yep.
he'd invite you guys to live
Well, before
together.
we went to the garage before we went to Europe the second time, I met Grouch. Katie Roth, who was my ex-girlfriend, pastor's daughter of a church I used to go to, and her best friend. Once again, I guess girls kind of brought us together. Her best friend is Grouch's girlfriend, and she was like, "Yeah, my boy, my girl's boyfriend is a big fan of your guys' shit, and he wants
Wow.
to, come and holler at you guys." But it never really happened until one day we were having this going away party. Forced to go to Europe the second time, and it was
Yep.
also the launch of our new issue of Unsigned and Hella Broke. And he
Crazy.
shows up at this launch, and Sphere actually showed up too, and well, it was dope.
Oh,
And he was like, yeah, I heard you guys got evicted. You really got to, have a strong place to stay. My grandma just passed away in Alameda. I have her house. It's just me. If you want, you guys can just come stay here. We didn't even know him.
what?
And he's like, you could just live at my grandma's house free. And
That's
then,
amazing.
and then that's like when it was right next to Alameda Community College. So it just worked out. It was like
Yeah.
God puts you in these places and situations, you have nothing to do it. You just got to be inspired and
Yeah.
strong, believing what you want, I feel that. I believe that big time.
Yeah, I was really fascinated with the living legends because you guys were diverse. I'd never seen anything like that. I still wasn't really familiar with Freestyle Fellowship and the Visionaries coming to the
Hmm.
U.S. from Japan, but I was just really attracted that you guys had all different races and people from different backgrounds. It was really cool for me to see, and I thought, man, I was like, this is amazing. And so, and when did you guys actually become the living legends? Was it first you three, or was it after a certain number of members?
So basically, we, like I said, we really we're going as Mystik Journeymen first to go to Europe, and the more we go, we start taking some of our new crew members. First one was Grouch,
Yep.
who was going by Corey S by then,
Oh,
and his name's Corey Scoffrin. I'm Corey, he's Corey. I'm Corey Johnson, he's Corey Scoffrin. And I was like, I don't think that's a rap name, dude. I think, and I was living with him, like I said, and he was just so grouchy all the time about everything to everyone. And I was like, dude, you know what? You're a fucking grouch. That should be your fucking name, Grouch. And
that's
it
awesome.
just stuck. So we started taking him, and then Merce
Yep.
he was from Santa Cruz. Oh, he wasn't from Santa Cruz, but he was going to Caprio College, and his whole thing was he grew up in LA and down the street from Tom, which was crazy, like Lucky,
Man.
which was crazy. But he was cool with Eli. And like I told you, I was a runaway back in the day.
Yeah.
Eli's cousin and me were homies in high school.
Damn,
So it just
that
like
is
I'm saying, God
crazy.
puts you on the path. So
Yeah.
it was like, and so whenever I used to run away, I'd go to his house and I'd hide at his house, and he put me up. And so it just turned out to like when Eli met Crouch, they became friends, and then Merce, kind of got in the mix. His mom and me had to meet up so he could come live with us. But like
Nice.
she
That's
basically
right.
gave me to him, and
Yeah, a
or she
blessing.
gave him to me, and was like, just make sure my boy's okay. And I was like, don't worry, and so like we're taking him to Europe with us, and back
Wow.
and forth we're doing these shows, but like we need a name when we get booked for shows. So I came up with this name called the Underworld. Instead of just being underground, it's the underworld because it's all these
Wow.
different people.
Yep.
And so then it came back to we did some shows in the underworld out there, but then we came back to America, and then we're gonna go back to Europe. And at this time, there's this magazine called Herb Magazine,
Yep.
and in Herb
Absolutely.
Magazine they had this group called Underworld. It was an EDM group or some shit, and they were big as fuck. And I'm like, dude, we gotta change the fucking name. And I remember I was at my cousin, not my cousin, sorry, I was at my girlfriend Zena's house and in Berkeley. And I was like, at this time, Grouch's parents or mom was moving to the house, so we all had to move out. And
Okay.
Grouch was he was taking over the basement. So he had some of the crew members were staying there, but I was staying with my girl. Tom actually was staying there too.
Okay.
And you know, it just was a thing of I'm at our house, and I'm like, and I was watching some shit on TV, and maybe it was Bob Marley. Who fucking knows? I just thought legend,
Oh,
and then I was like living legends. I was like, because we're alive, and I was like, oh wait, and we've done legendary shit because like we climbed Mount Fuji,
dang.
we've away, we got to Switzerland, all these different places. I told you that one earlier, and I was like, we're 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 living legends. We're legends. And I was like, so next time we went to
Damn.
Europe, we
That's
became living
awesome.
legends. Yeah. So it was a thing of like it just all happened naturally.
Yeah.
Saying and yeah. And then after a
Wow.
while, Mystik Journeymen kind of just got absorbed into Living Legends because
Right.
I think we did our last Mystik Journeyman album at that point, probably in 2000. And at this
Yep.
time, we were about to put out Almost Famous, and
That's
Almost
right.
Famous was blowing up for us. We were on tour of the Alcoholics and all this shit. And then, too, also in 2000, I put my own solo album out, Child of the Storm, and it just
Yep.
kind of we just all were like, we're rock stars, we're rock, because we're doing like the most of everything. So
I love it.
and I felt like Mystik Journeyman kind of was, I don't say it's performance art, but it wasn't it just wasn't the next sound for us. We had done that, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was doing more stuff that was more probably more I don't say commercial because it's not commercial, but it just wasn't like I felt like Mystic Journeyman was kind of like punk rock hip hop, kind of in the sense of just the attitude and how we went. Everything was,
Ah, I
it
can see
wasn't
that.
it wasn't like a lot of them wasn't the jams like the groove jams. They were just like hidden jams, and there would
Yeah.
be grooves. I don't know. Maybe I can't explain it because it's me, but our new sound for Living Legends and our solo shit, it just kind of took over, and we
Yeah.
just started kind of pushing that. And Mystic Journeyman, I'm gonna say it was over, but it was just kind of just absorbed for the moment.
That's right. Yeah, and you guys laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most successful underground groups of all time. I mean, overseas. I mean, you guys became the blueprint, right? I thought,
Word.
right?
Thanks.
And so, yeah, Almost Famous. What was legendary with everybody together. And I guess before I move on too, I was interested. Arata too. Is he from Japan or is he from Cali? Because I was always
Yeah,
looking
he's
for.
from Osaka. So yeah, he's from Osaka. I met him one day. Like, so I told you I had a magazine. We had a
Yep.
magazine. I would be on Telegraph. I mean, that's what I did. I wouldn't have enough money to get, back from Telegraph, but I had enough money to get to Telegraph.
Yep.
And if I didn't sell something, I would never be able to get home and shit like that. So I was always selling tapes, always selling the magazines that I made at Kinko's.
Yeah.
And one day and I'd ask anybody that's a college student, I'd be like, hey, you want to buy this? Just go out at the mall. And one day I went at this little Asian guy, and I was like, yo, you gonna buy this? And he couldn't even speak at all.
Oh,
English hardly at
wow.
all. And I was like, dude, what's good with it? You know, won't, but he can speak a little. And I was like, you want to hit the blunt? He was like, yes, yes. And he had he had a black eye, and this is why I immediately was like, we're homies forever. I was like, you know, what happened? And he goes, fight, kung fu fight. I'm like, you lying? What the fuck? And he's like telling me, you know, it was so like whatever. And then he goes, yeah, I saw someone from Osaka. We got in the kung fu fight at the polo fields. And I was like, we're homies, homie. We're about to be homies, homie. And then next you know, I just started inviting him over to, at this point, me and Tom were living with his girlfriend. Me and Lucky were living with his girlfriend in Arifa and her best friend, Sarah. And I made this little makeshift studio in their living room. And basically, I would invite Roger over to smoke and hang out. And one day I was like, like, I'm always thinking diversity. I'm always thinking everybody. I want, not even diversity. I think it's more like I'm thinking like, if the UPS man or the if the UPS man or the FedEx man shows up at a certain part where I need someone to go, or someone, I will put this one. I don't care who you are. I'll put my mom on the song. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm gonna put you. I want to have you rap on this song. I'm like, I don't rap. I'm like, no, motherfucker, you rap. No, you gonna write something right now. That's how I always was like, you rap. I was the forcer always. But and then he wrote some, he wrote for one song. Maybe it was Animal Instinct or all. I would always come up with these weird topics, like everybody's an animal or everybody's an insect in the song. So I was always thinking that's what I said, being colorful, being different, and we're gonna make this song in 15 minutes. We're not gonna sit here overthink this shit. We're not, none of that. And we might just put it out today. I might hit the block today with a rough 4-track mix of this shit and sell it. That's just living in the moment. I'm not waiting for nobody. Who cares if you're not signed or whatever? Who gives a fuck? We're signed to us. So So he basically, did his song, or he did his verse on the song, and somehow we were also throwing shows, like I told you, we brought him out on one of our shows, and he started. There's never been a Japanese rapper seen ever in the Bay before.
That's
and why he came on, got on the mic, motherfuckers went crazy.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Crazy. And so like from then on, he was just squad. And he was like my best friend, man. I love that guy. Like this dude lived in America like for 10 years and never ever understood English or really learned English all the way. You know what I'm saying? And he was a special cat. But yeah, shout out to Arada, man. I love that.
Yeah, I just remember, and before I move on, I wanted to mention I heard his verse for the first time rapping in Japanese, and I was flipping out. You're right, no one has seen anything like that at the time.
Yeah.
It was like unheard of. So that was really cool. Just again, you guys got an amazing catalog. Walkman Invaders, one of my favorite albums of all time. Walkman Invaders, Guts and Glory, some of my favorite songs.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so it's great. Yeah, when I was introduced to you guys' music and just underground in general, it was over. And you mentioned Underground Legend, which was one of your solo albums. I think that was your third album, though, right? It wasn't your first solo, though, right?
My first one was Child of the Storm. My second one was Underground Legend.
Oh, it's second. Okay. Angels with Dirty Faces was after.
Dirty Faces. That was on. Actually, when did I drop that? I think that was in 2000, and I dropped that when it was almost like within the same year. Because
oh wow.
I dropped Child of the Storm right after that drop. Was it fucking that album Arms? Arms was on it. Fuck, I can't even remember my friend. Oh wait. Fallen Angels. Angels. So it was Child of the Storm, Fallen Angels.
Okay.
Maybe it was my Underground Legend. It's just dropping music nonstop. Like I said, put it out that day. We didn't give a fuck. You know
I love that. And it was like you get your money out of the album, 19 songs or 19 tracks and interludes. It was great. And so and did you produce that album all? Was that all you?
Which one? Which one?
Underground Legend?
Yeah, I produced the whole thing.
Yeah, I just love the program drumming. The 90s sound had a particular, just a sound. Like I know, the grimy drums. And so like every time I listen to it, it always takes me back. And so, I think that's appropriate, Underground Legend. And so I just wanted to, since it's one of my favorite albums, I just wanted to let you know some of my favorite songs, Clone Boy. I think you're oh my God, that beat is sick.
Yeah.
And Never Confess was Clone Boy, Never Confess. I thought was a great crowd walker. The hook was fun. Oh man,
Like
that's
that,
another good one.
and that was like, so all those songs that were on that were songs that didn't make it to the studio
Yeah,
for Child of the Storm. And
yeah.
like, I every day I'd be making new songs. So I was like, and it was like the way at this point Amoeba was like, we had the Mystik Journeymen also was like kind of um where I learned that we could sell shit. So at
Ah,
that point, I mean, I was a poor
assignment or
artist. I
something.
was like, fuck this. I'm about to start selling my own music too, And like I said, I'm
Yeah,
always making all these songs, and sometimes I make songs too fast for Lucky to get on, and I'd be like, well, I don't know if this is a Mystic Journeyman song. So I was like, this is just a new album. This is a new thing. So it would
that's
just
cool.
be a thing of like, I would just keep dropping albums. I'd be making all these songs and keep dropping new albums. And yeah. So that one right there was an album I mixed down in my room on a 3-track. The mixes are all fucked up. Didn't have the money to go to the studio. And I still
It
was
was
like,
great
I
though.
don't give a fuck. It's
The
coming out.
sound,
It's coming out.
the sound was
Yeah.
raw, man. I love it.
Word. Thanks, man. It took
Yeah,
a
and
lot of
so
honestly, it took a lot of confidence at that time to put it out because ain't nothing sounding like this shit.
that's
You know what
right.
I'm saying?
Yeah, and did you produce the Black Sands Over Eternia album too as well?
Black Sands of Eternity, I produced that whole album.
So that's where I thought I started seeing your style becoming more diverse production wise, because it
Mm-hmm.
was I thought it was a different side of Sunspot, and that too I was like, man, I just it had like, and I don't want to compare you to another producer, but just the new Jabez feel, like piano lesson was super smooth, and it
Mm-hmm.
was
Mm-hmm.
different to the grimy drums. So I was like, man, he really showed growth in that
Word.
album, man, and I
Thank
just love
you.
the hard drums with bass and so that song too, piano lesson was one of my favorites, and reflections. And
Yeah.
was that
Oh
Arata in
yeah.
the beginning who says the
Yeah,
black
Blacka,
stuff?
Sandra. Yeah, yeah. And actually, you know what? Reflections was produced by I think Grouch.
Okay,
That's the one song that wasn't produced by me.
that
Yeah, yeah,
was that Arata on the intro with the Black Sons of
yeah,
Itania?
yeah, yeah. Avatania. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
that was
I'd
great.
always, I'd always down, and I always want try to get him on the mic as much as possible because he felt so like uncomfortable, and it was so funny. I just love it so much.
Hey, that's some family stuff right there. And then again, the
Yeah.
legendary tracks like Firefly Rebellion and
Oh
Mercury
yeah.
Rising too were also on
Oh
that
yeah.
album. Yeah. Oh man,
Oh
just
yeah. I love those
hits.
songs. Mercury Rising actually was a song. Mercury Rising was a song I made in my room on the 3-track, and I was singing all through it, and I was like, "This song sucks, but this beat is dope as fuck." I'm like,
Huh.
only way to make this song dope, got to get Tom
Ah,
luck on it. And then like Tom always brightens up any song he's on, and it creates a new vibe for me to even look at my beats. Because like sometimes you make beats and you're hating on it because of hi-hat, or you're hating on it because of the snare. It's not like you're looking at it as a beat. You're looking at it as like
right.
some what happens when self-producers, try to rap on their own shit. So like when he started rapping on shit, I would see my beat in a different way. And Mercury Rising was one of those beats that I saw in a different way
Yeah.
after he rapped. I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is a hit. And I was like,
Yeah.
boom.
Oh
And
my god.
yeah, that my first big hit in the Bay. It was on the box, and yeah, it
Oh
got on
wow.
TV. People were ordering it. Yeah, it was real big for
Oh
us. Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah. Just Firefly Rebellion. Oh, I'm independent as fuck. I can
Look,
walk
I
to
can
an
walk up to
AR
you
and
and
say,
say
yo,
what's
what's
up.
up?
That's right.
Oh man.
That's how and that
That
was very in the moment of what we were going through. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because A&Rs were just passing this. We had got a publishing deal with Polygram, and this is all through Ronald too. And basically, we were supposed to get signed to London Records from there, and they gave us money to make all these new songs, and we sent it to them, and they were like, "We're not fucking with none of this shit. This shit is nothing like how the demo was." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"The demo was not really even dope." And then from there, through that deal, well, we lost the Polygram deal.
Yeah.
Never got the London, but through what we did get was we got equipment from it. So I had a
Ah,
sampler, we had
that's cool.
a 4-track, and that 4-track was where the whole thing changed because we're like,
Yeah.
fuck all this motherfuckers trying to judge us and make us feel like we got to make certain kind of music. But that
Yeah.
4-track was our power to make any music we want, and it's automatically released if we make it released. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Yeah, so that's where a lot of the production started, and yeah.
And that's another great point too, because again, I hate comparing people, but Kanye West is famous for always not. He doesn't make the traditional song structures, right? And you guys didn't do that either, and that was back in the
Mm,
'90s, dude. You
mm,
guys didn't do
mm.
verse, hook, verse. You guys had like skits, and like the verse
Yeah.
wouldn't come till the end, like Firefly Rebellion, and songs were like 5 minutes
Mm.
long, or just different lengths. And man, I just love how it was different. There wasn't like a recipe. It was just a
Mm.
mix of cool stuff
It's how
together,
we
man.
felt. That's what I'm saying. Every day it was different, and
Yeah.
I'm making beats every single day. I have like fucking records and records and records and records in my room, and the moment I make the beat and Tom hears, like, he hears it, if his face lights up, we're like, well, fuck it, let's make this song right now, and then, like,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
how it was. So we have so many fucking songs. That's why we have the UHB 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. You know what I mean? That were just the compilations, and there's like, probably like 5 Mystik Journeymen albums, and like, yeah, so Against All Odds, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I guess your catalog is amazing, and I just wanted to point out one more album before I jump into the next set of questions real quick. Was your first Stony Hawk album was another favorite of mine. When it wants to
Oh,
give it
word,
A
thank you.
plus. Yeah, in particular was the song "Stay Hungry" was the one that
Oh
like
yeah,
that really hits me hard, man. And
oh yeah.
the video was hard, man. I freaking love that video. It was
Thank you. That's East Oakland. Yeah,
yeah, it was edited really good. Who edited the video?
I made that. I did all that.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah, it was well done, man. Just
word, man.
the way that it
Appreciate
was
it.
cut was great, and
We just dropped a new one.
yep,
That was last year in March. Yeah,
yeah, and yeah, just man, you guys sound great together, man. That was I
word.
mean,
Thank you.
yeah, I love that, man. And
That
who
was a
came
long
up with
time
the stone?
coming.
Who came up with the Stony Hawk name? You or A plus?
I just came up with it one day. I just felt like it just worked out. You know what I
Dude,
mean? I'm the namer. I always
yeah,
name
I
shit.
was
You know
about
what
to
I
say
mean? And
that.
then,
Yeah, you're good at that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm good at naming shit. That's what I do. I'm always
yeah.
creating brands and shit. You know?
Oh man. And the other video too for that album was good. Was is it Just Like Us, the one with the cartoon edits into it
Oh,
too?
getting down just
Okay.
like that. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That
Just
was
Like
my
That. Yeah, that's right.
animation. Yeah,
Did you do
yeah. I
that too as
animated
well?
that
The
whole thing.
video?
Yep, yep. I did all that.
Dude, are you self-trained or did you go to school for?
Self-taught. Self-taught.
Damn. What do you use to cut film? Is it
Wish I
you use
went to go to
Apple?
school. I use well back then that was Final Cut,
Yeah,
and now I moved on to Premiere, and
yeah.
I do all my animation in After Effects.
That is crazy, man. Well, hey,
Yep.
man, you got an amazing catalog, and I could go on days just talking about your music. But again, big fan since the '90s. After I found out about it, moving to
All
the
right, thank you.
U.S. But I want to also credit you about something you mentioned earlier. You're a children's book author, and you released "The Dentist and the Fire Breathing Dragon." You independently published that 2021. You said it's just something you've been
Mm-hmm.
doing since you were young, and so that's awesome,
Mm-hmm.
man. That you went on and just kind of full circled and made a children's book. That's cool. What motivated you to do that?
And I turned it into like a thing that now is an annual health fair, which happens in Oakland at Fairyland, which is a big park, and it's a theme park, and we have the new one that's happening on August 17th.
Yeah.
But and it's sponsored by the city of Oakland.
Wow.
The mayor comes and gives out like awards and shit,
Yeah.
and all the Kaiser is one of the sponsors. But yeah, what it was like kind of the same thing with music. I was put on a punishment a lot as a kid, so I never really got to get a lot of TV time in. So I was always in my imagination, and
Yeah.
I was drawing, and I did a lot of it when I was younger, and kind of somewhere in the middle, I lost it because it was about like writing, or it was making music. You can't do all these fucking things at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But the only my only refuge in life has always been my imagination. And
Yeah.
I wanted to help other kids in the same way find, refuge in imagination. And, I put together this book. I actually have a lot of books that I put together, but that was just the first one I put out.
Yeah.
And you know, it was about like in the foster home, there's never like you can never go to the dentist because dentistry is expensive as fuck. They'll take you to the hospital, but they ain't gonna take you to the dentist. Like went to the dentist, I was scared and you know, all this shit because they got the drills and all that. And I was like, there's a lot of kids like me, there's a lot of people like me that are scared of the dentist. And I was like, what if there's a big old dragon that was scared of the dentist too? Like
Yeah.
what, you know, how would you feel about yourself? Would you feel like, you know, it's okay to be scared, you know, because like off, he's scared, but by the end, you know, he's happy, he's joyful, you know,
Yeah.
and your body is so much controlled by your mouth and teeth. People don't even know about that, and that's something they teach nothing about in school. Really, it's about like taking care of your mouth. You know, your whole circulatory system, everything is connected. If you have bad teeth, you can fucking die. You know, people don't know about this shit. So I just felt like you know that was the first one that I wanted to drop,
Yeah.
and like I said, I always find refuge in imagination, and that's what I'm always. That's why I'm prolific with everything. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah.
just all different things.
Yeah, I love it, man. And just the idea behind it is great, man. I just thought that was clever and very catchy
Well,
for the
thank you.
children's mind, and to do it because of what the reasons you just stated, it makes me even dig it even more. Really cool, man.
And it did good. Thank you. And it did really better than I thought because I thought I was gonna put it out and it was just gonna be a slow burn, right? You know, it was just
Yeah.
something that is on my bucket list of like I want to, you know, put something out that helps kids because I have a nonprofit organization called Hip Hop Scholastics where we go into schools and we use music as a vocational tool. You
Wow.
know, kids don't want to read a book. They don't want to do all the old ways of learning, but yet they know all the songs on the radio. You know, they can do
The
nothing but a
lyrics.
G thing.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, they can do nothing but a G thing, word for word, you know what I'm saying? But don't know their homework or nothing. So it was
Mhm.
a way of like, you know, teaching once again in a simpler way. And it's been music. So when I had that, so when I started the nonprofit, me and my co-executive director, Dr. Garcia, it turned into a thing of like, you know, I want a book that could be something for schools, you know, and that's
That's
what the Dennis and the Five-Breeded Dragon turned into because it could be in the
clever.
library and it could teach kids, and it's in a different way. It's in a colorful, different way. You know what I mean? It's in the
Yeah.
fantasy world where you know, this dragon's eating 500 donuts, and you know you're not supposed to eat all these sweets. You know, there's gumdrops coming out of the geysers and shit like that. You know, as a kid, you love all the Willy Wonka idea, but you also have to take care of yourself. You know,
Yeah.
remember to brush, and floss, and all that stuff. I don't think once they ever said floss smells in school.
Yeah. No.
You know
No.
what I
No.
mean?
Not.
They might have said brush.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how it happened.
Well,
And my
it's
next one
super.
is coming. And my
Oh.
next one is coming. It's called Werewolves Want the Moon for Christmas. And it's a urban Where the Wild Things Are about how a bad little kid turns into a werewolf, and then you know his whole
That's
story
super
of what he goes
cool.
through. So and that's about like you know loving your family and loving yourself and not having this big ego and you know that whole thing. So that's dropping for Halloween.
What a cool project, man. You
All right,
really
thanks.
you stay busy, man. I love it, dude. You
Oh
got
yeah, oh yeah, man. That's all I do.
yeah.
And I don't
I
got no
love it.
kids. I don't got no wife. I just got a lot of projects.
I respect that, man. You got to use your time on Earth wisely, man. And so it's good to see you doing like just productive things all over, man.
Word.
Professional and personally.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, well, hey man, amazing
Thank you.
catalog and again inspirational with your writing career too as well. And so I always love to close the interview out with just some fun questions
Okay.
that I want to ask you, man. So I found out that you were a Virgo September, dude. I'm a Virgo too as well. And so
That's what's up. What day?
yeah, yeah. And
What
so
day? What
what are
day?
some common characteristics of Virgo, man? Are you kind, hardworking, are you stubborn,
But wait, what day are you? Are you like in the middle? Or are you like at the end or the beginning?
I'm like pretty close to the beginning. September 7th is my birthday.
Oh, okay. So you're a true Virgo too.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's what's up. That's what's up. I
yeah.
mean, it's like this. How can I say about myself? I'm I feel like I'm kind hearted. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a nice guy, but at the same time I'm a fucking asshole. My mom's fucking very strict when I was growing up. So I have a little piece of all that. I'm always talking shit. I'm always like probably breaking some people down and all that. But I mean it all in the most nicest way.
Yeah.
You know, it probably kind of it rubs people the wrong way. But I'm very, very goal oriented. Very goal oriented. I'm very about starting a project and finishing a project. Even if I'm not gonna do anything with it, I gotta finish this shit. Because if it's okay to not finish this, it's gonna be okay for me not to finish something else. So I'm always trying to stay on it. And I mean, I've heard all the different traits they say about Virgos, you know, and sure, I'll take some of them and say that's true. You know what I mean? But in the end, I try to always lead with love. I always try to, you know, not to get too big for my own britches, just so I can always have an understanding of what's in my ecosystem. You know what I mean? And I don't get caught up on a lot of shit. You know, it's just a Kodak moment. If a big accolade happens, that's great. But I'm working on this too now. You know what I mean? It's just like always trying to push forward, always trying to be driven because, you know, these are things that make me happy. Like I said, you see how prolific I am. You see how much shit I put out. I love to create, you know? And to me, that's bigger than money. That's bigger than sex. It's bigger than anything. To be able to create something and hold it in your hand and be like, oh, this shit just was in my head just a while ago, you know? That's my highest pleasure, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, I love that, man. Okay, hey, next question for you is, you know, as you mentioned, you spent some time in Oahu, went to Chaminade College. Tell me what you prefer between a poke bowl or a plate lunch.
Oh, let me tell you this though about Hawaii, man. Y'all motherfuckers be starched out on y'all diet, man. That starch diet is there's never a reason why I need to have a scoop or for one, it's teriyaki chicken on the plate lunch, hella sauce on it. You got a scoop of rice and a scoop of macaroni salad. Like, why is that? That's overkill. That's so pokey all day.
Okay.
But the chicken good. The chicken good. You know, but god damn, bro. Like the starch game in Hawaii is crazy, bro.
Oh
it's
man,
crazy.
Dead, dude.
And you know,
shit.
but yeah, my favorite is just going to the supermarket and just getting poke straight from the supermarket. I'm good to go. What's it called again? Foodland, yeah. All day, dude. That shit's it's like better than a restaurant. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah. I don't fuck with Zippies. I do not fuck with Zippies.
Oh, you don't like the fast food feel.
Yeah, I don't fuck with Zippies. Hot dog and rice, I get it, you know. But nah, bro, I'm good. It gets to like midnight, I'm high, snack, but they selling it for real. Like this is a real deal. Okay, like $10 for this. I love me some Simon, of course. You know what I mean?
What about spam and rice?
No. I do not fuck with spam and rice. No.
Oh man,
I was raised on that, man. And
okay, fair enough.
I've seen that gelatinous fucking shit that comes in the can way before I knew you could fry it and make musab and all that other shit out of it. You know what I'm saying? But no, I do not fuck with that shit. I fuck with Pog.
Oh yeah, Pog's good stuff. What was your favorite? What was your favorite beach in Hawaii? On Oahu.
Oh yeah, Sandy Beach where I almost died. I mean,
because the waves were crazy.
That shore break is fucking nuts, but it's beautiful. It's way better than Waikiki Beach. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But you can walk out on Waikiki Beach forever. That's dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess you would know that. Yeah. I mean, if you see, you know, outside of Waikiki, all the other cool stuff because you lived here, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, man.
I used to live on Kalakaua Street too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
I'm on the other side.
Street. I'm sorry. I used to live on Kohio Street. Kalakaua was the main strip. I used to go to that McDonald's at the very end.
Yeah. By the hotels, right?
You on the other side of the island?
I'm at Eva Beach.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah. Far west.
Yeah. I mean, you don't got to deal with that. I mean, the tourism sucks out there, dude. That's another reason why I can't fuck with it. It's like, overpriced for no reason. Everything, dude.
Yeah, it hurts to buy a drink out there, man. It's so expensive.
Yeah. Like, I never went to Ala Moana Mall, really, but I would go to Kahala Mall.
Yep, that's the local. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, already. And get my Kaima Aina discount, homie. That's what's up.
Yeah. Oh,
Serious.
that's awesome, man. So you definitely
Yeah,
share that piece of Hawaii, man. That's great. But hey,
yeah,
man, you
man. I
got
love that
but
place.
I mean in the LA and Bay though, y'all got a lot of Filipinos. What's your favorite Filipino food?
Filipino group, Invisible Scratch Pickles, homie. What are
Oh,
you talking about?
I'm sorry, Filipino food.
Oh man, lumpia, pancit,
Ah, you see, you got them down, man.
man, dude.
That's
I
awesome.
was, I was me, Crouch, and Picasso all went to the Philippines. I'm sorry, in 2017 or 18,
Oh, not that
and
long ago. That's crazy.
yeah, and we played a music festival in Lipa City.
What?
It's not too
Oh,
far outside of Manila. Manila.
that is nuts.
That's when I realized, man, y'all should never like this is why I got a problem with Philippines right now. Never had spaghetti and cheeseburgers at the same fucking place, dude. What's up with Jollibee? Jollibee is crazy,
Oh,
dude. And fried chicken. Come on,
oh
dog.
my God,
Some's
that is
some's
hilarious.
not gonna be good in quality. You know what I mean? That spaghetti is not good. That sweet ass spaghetti is not good, dude.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, what a good time. I had no idea you guys did Philippines too. That's super cool, man.
Yeah, man. I've been all up in them Jeepanese, fucking drunk as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love
Man,
Manila. It's smoke, man. The pollution is killing me
yeah,
though there, though.
it's
I
intense,
don't know.
man. And
Yeah,
the
they gotta get
traffic.
rid of some shit. The traffic's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, beautiful country, beautiful people, man. That's awesome that y'all rock
You
that,
just gotta
man.
leave Manila. You just gotta leave Manila and go to every other
Outside.
place. Yeah, it's fucking hot. You know what I mean? I love it.
Yeah.
And
Are you a basketball fan too or no?
I mean, it's like this. I'm a fan of sports, but I don't like to spend a lot of time not doing nothing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, watching sports a lot of times is just sitting there. You know what I mean? I stay on the work thing, as you can see with
Yeah.
all the things I do. But I mean, I'm all about the Warriors. I'm all about all the Bay teams always.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The
Well, my
Raiders.
yep. 49. Oh, yeah, you're more Raiders fan, right?
Yeah, always. Fuck the 49ers. But once the Raiders left, then it was all about 49ers. I'm all good. Joe
Well,
Montana, he's always gonna be there for me a little bit too. Jerry Rice, all these people.
yeah, legendary. Well, hey, let's do Warriors then, man. Outside of the current team, who is your favorite Golden State Warrior of all time?
I know people expect me to say Curry. Who is Rob? I mean,
Oh,
I think it's the new breed of basketball and
yeah.
Warriors is dope. Everyone before that, is kind of
Ooh, I'm a Tim
Warriors.
Hardaway fan, man. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's what's up. That's what's
yeah,
up. I mean, I
yeah.
think I'm more, yeah, but I'm always gonna say this fool, yeah, Iguodala.
Yeah. He was awesome, man.
Yeah, Iguodala
Indeed.
is raw, though.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. I got two last funny questions for you. What is let's see what your sense of humor is like. What is your favorite comedy movie of all time?
Fuck, dude, these are hard ones, man, because I love so many fucking
How about
movies.
favorites? One of your
I,
favorites.
I mean, I'm always gonna love Stir Crazy.
Okay.
Like, Stir Crazy, Gene Wilder. I'm a big Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder fan, like
Yeah.
crazy. Um, I love all the Fridays, of course, but that's so typical. I love I mean, dude. Me, myself, and Irene. I wanted to
That's
watch the other day. Like,
yeah.
really? That was a fucking nutcase, you know what I mean?
Jim
But
Carrey, man.
those are some of my favorites, you know what I mean?
Nice.
I love a lot of suspense movies as well.
Oh,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right. Final question for you is: are you doing ketchup or ranch with your fries, man? What do you prefer?
Ooh, sometimes I'm just gonna do a plain, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But I love me some ranch. I love me some
Okay.
ranch. I will fuck with some ketchup. Um, but I'm moving on to mustard.
Oh, okay. All right. I do get that urge sometimes. That's funny, man.
Dip them fries in the mustard. It's bomb as fuck.
Well, hey, thank you so much for your time, man. Like I mentioned, dude, you are truly a living legend. I mean, you
Word,
do
thank
it
you,
all
sir.
and inspirational. And again, I mentioned earlier, you guys were ahead of your time. Just music, putting your own stuff out, booking your own tours, and you guys really created that blueprint for other underground rappers who are doing that stuff today.
Respects,
So I
respects,
wanted to
man.
thank you and just honor your contribution. So I appreciate the time that you gave me to help share your story. I will
Thank
be a
you.
fan for life, and I can't wait to hear the future albums that you got coming. So thank
Word,
you for
thank you.
that. Yeah. Any final words or special projects that you want to talk about before we close this interview out?
Yeah, I want to make sure everyone goes out and downloads the newest Living Legends album, Living
Yep.
Legends The Return, which is like phenomenal. There we go. Phenomenal album that I just love so much because, you know, it's been a long time. I think since we did The Gathering, and I
Yeah.
really didn't like that movie. Movie. I didn't really like that album as
Album.
much as I love The Return. You know what I mean? I feel
Oh,
like
okay.
we're really in sync on this. That one was more like, you know, we went to the studio and for a week or two and we pumped out that album, which was cool, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't, you know, it was just too many other things going on, and we were really at the height of us feeling our rock stardom and shit. So I just
Yeah.
don't think the lyrics were really like they are now in this new one.
Okay.
And you know, we went out to Coachella and, you know, spent like 5 days and
Damn.
recorded that Return album, and it's like one of the best, you know, albums and one of the
Love
greatest
it.
times we all had together. And, you know, 3 studios all through a house, and go from one station, do a
Yeah.
song, go to the next station, do a song, kind of like how the outhouse was, because we had like about 4 different studios in our warehouse. And, you know,
Wow.
was it Grouch had his studio, Eli had his studio, I had my studio, Aesop has his little thing down there, and like, you know, it's just a good album to peep, and a lot of heartfelt, you know, lyrics in it. And I really respect heartfelt and coming from the heart, you know,
Yep.
more than ego on songs. And I feel like that's what it is. And we
Yeah.
have a new album that we're putting out that's going to be coming out on Halloween.
I love
A
it.
new Living Legends album. It's a compilation
Oh.
of like just all. It's kind of like Legendary Volume 2.
Yep.
Um, but we're putting that out, and then next year we're putting out the new Living Legends album we just recorded in Colorado.
Damn.
So
Yeah.
yeah, we've
Working.
been working. So look out for those. Download The Return. I have a new album coming out called Bad to the Bone.
Yeah.
Sunspot Jonz, Bad to the Bones, and it has a lot of dope people on it. It has Dell. It has Tash from the Alcoholics. It has the Living Legends. It has Mocha Only. It has
Jeez.
Reverie. It has Slug from Atmosphere. It
Wow.
has Latif from Latyrix. It has who am I forgetting? Fat Lips on there and Interlude from Far Side.
Oh, jeez,
Um,
man. Who's who?
yeah, so it's a lot of dope MCs that I don't just only respect, but you know, also they're my friends, and
Yep.
I love, you know, I love working with people that are my friends, and I respect them.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
so look out for that. Look out for Werewolves Want the Moon for Christmas, which is
Yeah.
my
That's
newest
great.
children's book. That should be out right before Halloween. Um, and yeah, I also did a movie called She's Got a Plan that came out
Oh,
a few years ago. Look
nice.
that up. Hopefully I have a new film and a new cartoon coming out. That's a whole nother story we'll talk about
Holy
for
cow.
2025 late. But also that's the next thing I'm moving on to,
Brilliant.
and is children's programming. So I'm trying to make my own Black Sesame Street. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And that's gonna be with some of the characters that I'm creating from these books. And you know, children of the future. That's my next move. And you know, I want to say I'll be rapping forever like Chuck D and Flavor Flav. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
at the same time, you know, I'm trying to expand. That's the best way is expand this hip hop experience that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And with my nonprofit, Hip Hop Scholastics, like I said, making health fairs happen all across the nation. We might bring
Fantastic.
one to Hawaii, and you know, just make a change, you know, with art.
Yeah.
Because right now they're suppressing our minds by making us think that we can't do things, and they're suppressing our minds by giving us nonstop stimuli, which is your phone, which is TV, which is shit on the radios, all these different fucking things that have nothing to do with you. You're losing individuality. You're losing who you are. Pretty soon, people aren't going to be able to write no more. Like everything's text.
Yeah.
Who knows how to write cursive anymore? You know what I mean? Why did I even learn how to fucking write cursive? Fuck them for doing that to us. But still, you know, all these things are like, you know, you're gonna have to dig deeper and deeper into yourself. Like they're pushing you more to the externals. You know, your individuality is being lost. So I'm trying to work as hard as I can before I'm gone to put out as much art as I can to make people look within themselves and look into a future that includes their dreams. You know, in the end, you know, my message to everyone is, you know, against all odds, control your destiny. Don't listen to anything that anyone has to say. You should only believe in what you believe in. And if you want to make a change in your life, change your life. It's as simple as that. There's no fucking special key, password. Just pursue it and believe in yourself. And you're going to be scared. You're going to be worried. You're going to think everybody's thinking this shit about you. Good. Cry. Do a good cry. But cry while you're moving fucking forward.
That's right. Wow. Well said, man.
And respect, thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I love talking to people that love the music, and
yeah,
you know, I appreciate you having you taking your time out of your day and having me on this. And yeah, I look forward to seeing more.